Hello guys, in this video we'll talk about for loop in Python. So till now in my previous video we have seen different data types and if condition which is used to control the flow of execution as per the condition, like condition checking and decision making. But what if you want to do similar task again and again on repeat loop, right? So the word itself suggests it is a looping condition where you want to do similar task again and again in a particular loop, right? So for that you use for condition. So without wasting time, let's start. I'm sharing my screen. And right now you can see a Jupyter notebook. So let's say I'll start with a string. Okay. So I have a string and the string is like apdaga dot dump box, right? If I print this, yeah. What I want to do, I want to print one character at a time from start to end for this string. So I want to iterate over this overall string and I want to print one character. Right now I'm just doing the print thing. Otherwise, instead of printing, you can do any kind of operation. So what I'll do, the syntax for that is for loop is for. So see here the operation I want to perform is print and I'm doing it repetitively for each and every character, right? The repetition part is there. So that's why I'll use the for loop. So for now I in S. So what is I? I is a local variable which is created over here at this place itself. It is not used anywhere else previously. In S means this variable string. So for just like try to understand it as per the normal English language. For I in S. S means the above variable colon. This condition is done. I want to print I. Okay. So what is happening? What I is a local variable. What it will do? S is a string. The first element of the string will be assigned to I, right? Then that I am going to print. Then once this is done, the second character from this string S will be assigned to I, right? Then again I will print this. Again the third character will be assigned to I. Then I will print that. And till when it is going to execute? Till the time this string ends, right? Automatically it will print all the element one by one. Once the element ends, it will come out of this for loop. Okay. So I am executing this. You can see A, P, D, A, G, A. It printed one character at a time this many times and then it stopped, right? So instead of this I can write anything, any name. It is just a local variable. So I can use char because char, what it will justify the name. The first character of S will be stored in this variable name char and then I will print that, right? I'm executing it once again, the same output. Similarly, I have shown it to you using a string, but same can be done using list, using tuple, using a dictionary, and a set. Okay, it might be little bit different, but for list and tuple, it is exactly same. I'll show you how. So I'll write. I will write L1. That is a list, and I'll give some numbering. Okay, anything. So this is a list. Now again I want to print all the elements one by one. So for I in L1 print I. And if I do that, all the elements are printed one by one. Similarly, instead of this L1, if I'll change the name to where. Okay. And here I'll change the name to where. Where means variable. So instead of this was list, instead of list, what I'll do? I'll take where equal to some tuple. So I'll take the same values again. Right? So it's tuple. And I'm commenting the first one. So if I do this, now it is tuple, right? It worked. Then I'll just copy this once again. And instead of this, I'll take a set. it is a set. So what I'll do, I'll run this. Now see, it worked, but order which I have given here and it printed is not same. Why? I have already told you in set there is no specific order as such. Okay, it is not a ordered entity. So that's why it happened, but it worked. Now I'll take a dictionary where, and I'll write something like key as A, the value as 1, then B value is 2, then C, the value is 3, and it is a dictionary, right? So I'm executing this and I'm applying the same for loop. You can see it printed all the keys. Okay, it didn't print value and those things. If I want to do that, what I'll do, for I comma, we know the function keys and values we have already used. So if I do for I in where print I, and if I write dot keys here, so it will, so all the keys from this dictionary where will be assigned to this I one by one, and then I'll print this I one by one. Okay, so output will be exactly same. Instead of that, if I, instead of keys, if I write values over here, so all the values from this dictionary are assigned to I one by one, and then I am going to print that I one by one. So see, it printed all the values from the dictionary one by one. What if I want to print key and value at the same time? So there is option. That option is nothing but items. We have seen, we have already seen that there is a items function in dictionary. So where dot items, but you know the items, the output of items is always tuple of two values, k comma v, k comma v. So instead of only I, what I'll do, I comma j, I'll take two variables, or I must say for ease of understanding, I'll write k comma v, right? And I'll print k comma v, but instead of doing that, no, I'll do this. So see, this k and v are printed one by one. Okay, so the first kv, like key value pair, is assigned to this k and v respectively, and then we have printed it. Then the next key value pair is assigned here. So one by one repetitive task happened, right? Then there are other ways as well, but let's not bother about that. So this is how for loop works. Just like if condition, there can be a nested for loop. So for within a for, that can be done, but no need for that. I'll give you the example for that. L2, I'm creating a list. So the elements are something like that. 4.5, then Akshay, then I'm writing one more list within that, 2, 3, 5, right? So if I want to print all the elements, what I'll write, for I in L2, print L2, right? So I made some mistake, I guess. No, print I, it should be I. So it printed all the elements one by one, right? But what I want to do, instead of printing this list as it is, I want to print 2, 3, 4 again. So what I'll do, I'll use nested for. So for within for. So I'll check in this for condition. I'll print all, before printing this, I'll write from the script. I'll just write into another cell. I'm just copying this. Okay. And I'll write from the script. For I in L2, I'll check whether the internal element is list or not. If it is list, then only we want to enter inside it, right? So I'll check if type of I equal to list, right? Then what I'll do, I'll again use a for loop for that element, right? So I'll write for j in I, what we have done, we have taken for I in L2. So I is element, right? This 1, 32, 4.5, Akshay, and this whole list. So after that I checked whether if the type of I is list. So for first this entry, it will be false. But for this condition will be true. So it will enter, and we will again use a for loop where whatever is there in this I, right? All the elements from that I will be put into J one by one. Then I'll print J. Okay, in this way we were able to print this. But else, whenever the type of element is equal to list, this condition is false. Means for all the remaining elements, I'll just write print of I. Let's see what happens. So you can see whatever I wanted this output. Just 2, 3, 5 are separated, and exactly same output I got here. So this is the flow of execution. We know for loop, we know if condition. Using for and if loop, I have created this. Okay, now we can talk about many more this small problem statement for our brain exercise, I must say, and we can achieve different conditions. So in my next few videos, I'll give you some problem statement, and at the same time in the same video I'll tell you the different solutions, how we can develop the code for that. Okay, so let me check if I missed anything. So 1 second. So we are almost done, but one more such a small problem statement we'll talk about. So I'll take L3, and what I'll do, I'll take a list and I'll write something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.7, then Akshay, then something like true, then Daga, something like that. And the problem statement is, what I wanted to do is extract all the integer elements from given list. So it is very easy. Using for loop and if condition, you can do that. How? Let's look. So I'll write for ELE. So ELE means element. Let's consider this. I'll take for E in L3, for element in L3. I'll check if the type of E element equal to int, then just print it, or print E. So if I do this, you can see out of all these elements, I'll just print it here, L3, right? Out of all these elements, only integer values are we extracted all the integer values. 5.7, it is a float, this is string, this is a boolean, this is a string. So all those are removed. Only whatever are the integer elements, those are extracted. Instead of printing, if I want to put it in some of the output list, so I'll create an output list, blank output list I'll create here. Instead of printing, what I'll do, I'll write out.append. We have already used this function, right? And then I'll pass E into that. And at the end, I'll just print the out variable. See, from this input, I have extracted all the integer. Similarly, if I want to extract the float, I can do this. Instead of int, I'll write float here. And if I run this, see, the float value is extracted. If I write str here, the string values are extracted. So this is how we can make use of for and if condition, different combinations, and we can resolve these small issues. We can tackle this small problem statement. So that's it, guys, for this video. I hope you got some idea about for loop and Python in general. And if you like this content, please like, share, subscribe, and spread the word with your friends. This is Akshay Daga signing off. Thank you. Bye bye.